Yes, I know you can't defend. It's a pain this year, but your boy's got you covered. This is a complete guide to defending in the midfield in the AFC 24. Now, if you haven't yet subscribed, what are you doing? I'm hitting you with tutorials day in, day out throughout the year of the AFC, so be sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. Can we do it? Let's get into it. Now, this tutorial will be broken up into 3 complete segments. It's switching and moving up with each player. It's anticipate switching, and it's pouncing. Now, when it comes to defending in the midfield, it is super important that you are right stick switching between all of your defenders and attempting to put pressure onto the opponent whilst at the same time not giving up any spaces or gaps for your opponent to exploit. This entails keeping the shape of your defense, which entails switching between multiple defenders at once. And you'll see, when I particularly am defending in the midfield, I am switching between my defenders, but I'm pushing them up slightly before I switch off each defender. This push up slightly allows me to put pressure onto the opponent, but at the same time not giving up space. Because if you can control just one defender and start running needlessly towards the attacker on the ball, then what will happen is, unfortunately, you will give up that space or gap, and you'll also be more susceptible to unintentionally crossing over defenders, which then leaves channels, gaps and spaces for your opponent to exploit. So when defending in the midfield, switch between your defenders, push them up slightly and then switch off. This puts pressure onto the ball carrier whilst at the same time keeping them in their position to not give up any spaces or gaps. And this also includes anticipating, which is the next segment. When you are switching between your midfielders, you do also need to incorporate your defenders, and that's simply because there may be a slight gap or space or passing lane for your opponent to exploit through to his attacker. And if you're just controlling your midfielders in the midfield and not incorporating your centre backs to then anticipate the pass into the attacker, then your opponent will a lot of the time find it easier to break you down because they'll be able to hit the striker's feet, which then forces you to follow him with the centre back and leave gaps and spaces for him to exploit. But if we can anticipate this before he even passes there, this allows us to cut off that passing option and force the opponent back, because he will either see the pass has been cut off with your centre back, or he will pass it into the striker, which you will be there to intercept anyway. So that's where anticipating comes in. You need to constantly switch between your midfielders and then anticipate the opponent's pass into the attackers when you can. It really does incorporate a lot of right stick switching when it comes to defending in the midfield, and that's exactly why I still stand by it as the #1 defending tool that you need to learn to improve your defense by tenfold. Last up, we have pouncing, and pouncing entails you guys essentially waiting for your opponent to take a large touch or do a skill move that is unnecessary for you to then pounce on the ball and win it back. Now, with the controls, it's a transition from a stationary movement with L2 and R2 when jockeying into a full-on sprint. So if you're wanting to pounce on the opponent in the midfield, you essentially want to hold your position, and when he takes that large touch, instantly transition into a sprint to then pounce on that touch. And again, it is the same for when you switch to a defender. If you read the bad touch, or if you read your opponent to sprint, you can switch to a defender to then pounce on the opponent. This will allow you guys to basically win the ball back cheaply because your opponent has sprint or he's done an unnecessary skill move. Now, if you want to get personal one-on-one coaching with me, you can. The link is down below. In my opinion, it's better than spending money on FIFA points, because at the end of the day, a better team is not going to make you a better player. It's how you use that team. It's your skill and ability as well as mentality. that will improve your game and get you better results, which will get you better rewards to get a better team. So check that out. The link is down below, but I'm out. Sayonara, au revoir, adios, salam, ciao. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. And lastly, if you do want any pre-gaming fuel or supplement, then head over to atpscience.com, which is the first link in the description, and use the code DylanEtsATP at checkout to get yourself a discount. Not only is it the cheapest way to get supplements, but it helps me out a ton, guys, so thank you.